Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the boat. It's been a long time, and I want to go over a few of the things that have happened and explain a little bit of why I've been gone. So, when you last saw me, I was pulling into the marina, and it was dark, and so I shut the camera off because I don't have night vision or anything fancy like that, and none of the lights worked. They do work now, as you can see. Excuse me. And so, as I was pulling into my row, I went to disengage the engine from the, put it in neutral, so I could coast in, and nothing happened. I kept cruising along at a pretty quick forward clip. I put it in reverse, gave it some throttle. I actually started going forward faster. The transmission was stuck in forward gear, and that was an ordeal. So I killed the engine. I just pulled the kill switch, or the kill lever rope cable. Pulled the kill cable, which shuts off the fuel to the engine, which is basically what it takes to kill a diesel, or at least an old one. So I coasted in. I hit the dock, but not too hard. I didn't damage anything. Nobody saw it. It was the middle of the night, so that was cool. And then I proceeded to try to figure out what was wrong, and I videotaped all of this, of course. So I couldn't figure it out. I hired a mechanic. I got on Craigslist, looked up diesel marine mechanic, came up with a guy. He came out right away. He said he was local. He took a look at everything. He said, oh yeah, your shift fork is broken. It's no big deal, but I need to pull the transmission out, and I might as well rebuild it while it's out. And I said, okay, sure. And also, he wanted to rebuild the injectors, which also seemed like a good idea. It wasn't running very good, so I figured can't go wrong there. So I gave him a down payment of about $600. He came by a couple days later, pulled my transmission out of here, pulled my injectors out of here, and off he went. And he had said it would be about 2 to 3 weeks till it was done. Hang on one second. One of the other additions I have on the boat right now is this handy dandy beer fridge, which also has water, but more importantly it has beer, and it keeps it very cold and it's very delightful. So I didn't hear from this guy for a few weeks, and I hadn't expected to, and then after a while I called him to see what was going on. No answer. Then he sent me a text message. He said, oh, I had to order a couple more parts. They're taking a long time, so it'll be a little bit longer. I thought, okay, that's reasonable. I don't know how hard it is to get parts for these old things. So I'm going to condense this story to basically after about 3.5 months of me putting up with his crappy excuses and then threatening legal action. He finally came back and he put the transmission back on, mostly hooked up. I think it was missing a bolt or two, and left my injectors in a box sitting down by the engine. So I spent some time putting everything back together, and it didn't run. I couldn't get it to run, couldn't get it to start. Kept working on it, finally got it to fire, and it ran like garbage. It was just loping and wouldn't raise above an idle. So in addition to that, it also wouldn't shift. So I tried to get a hold of him again, but his business had been closed and he was gone. I got a hold of a couple other mechanics, finally found one that was recommended very highly, and had him come out. He took a look at it. He said the transmission, it was pretty iffy as to whether or not it was rebuilt. But most importantly, my injection pump was actually the reason my boat didn't run very well. He said that just to take it out and have it rebuilt and put it back in would probably cost more than it was worth. I mean, and I appreciate people being honest. So I had a choice to make. I could scrap the boat and give up. That didn't seem like a good option. I could pay thousands of dollars to fix an engine that really had a lot of different problems. Or I could repower, and that's what I ultimately chose to do. So I found on Craigslist again, and maybe I should stay off Craigslist, I don't know. I found a Yanmar. It's a 3HMF Yanmar, older one. Had an hour meter on, had an hour meter on it that said 500 hours. I don't know how accurate that is, but either way, it runs good, and so I bought it. I brought it home in a trailer, and then I basically sat around with it for a long time. I couldn't afford, after paying for the engine, it was not cheap, to have it put in. So fast forward a little while later, I finally saved up enough money. I had the boat towed from here over to Schooner Creek Boat Works, which is, as far as I'm concerned, a great place. And they put the engine in. They used a boat lift, actually, as a crane. Left the boat in the water, used a hoist on a boat lift to pull the old engine out, put the new one in. And then I got towed back here so that I could connect the engine up by myself and save some money, because to have them do that would have cost a lot. So that in itself took another, I don't even know how long. Somewhere in the interim there, my car was stolen, which was kind of a bummer because I really liked that Jeep, but it's not that big a deal. But in the car was both my cameras, all my footage from any of this nonsense that had been happening. So I was left with nothing and no cameras. So that's why there haven't been any videos. I mean, that's the biggest part. So I have the engine in. I have it hooked up and I have it running. I just had my starter. I took my starter in to be rebuilt, and I just got it back, so I'm going to put that in. But it was running before. It felt a little sluggish with the starting, so I thought, well, I'll do it now while I can. So there's that. I also have, I've been doing some other boat projects. I've got a cockpit drain project that I did take video of now that I have a camera. I've got the aft cabin I'm doing, kind of redoing completely. Well, not completely, but I'm doing a lot of work in there, and I'm trying to take video of that too. So I only have the one camera. I'm doing the best I can with what I've got. So I'm going to get these things edited and put up soon. But I just kind of wanted to give a little update on what's going on. So that's that. I'm trying to keep it short. Looks like we kept it under 8 minutes. So hopefully I didn't lose your attention. So I will put up more videos soon. Stay tuned, and I'll see you then. No, you'll see me. I won't see you. That's kind of a bummer. How do I see you? That would be creepy. Never mind. This whole thing is creepy. You're just watching me. It's kind of strange.